Hello Primary 5. Today we have a story, The Bronze Bust Mystery, Chapter 5, The Meeting. Okay, Chapter 5, The Meeting. As usual, let us listen to the text. Open your storybook, page 31. Open your storybook, page 31. Let's listen to the text.
Chapter 5. The Meeting. Later that night, the children went to the pottery shop. Everywhere was quiet. The street was empty. "Let's find somewhere to hide," said Robert. "Then we can watch for Salvius." The children looked for a good place to hide. There was a pile of broken pots in the doorway of the shop. "Look," said Lucy. "There's the perfect place to hide. We can hide behind the pots. Salvius will never see us there." The children crouched behind the pots and waited. They waited and waited. They began to feel stiff. "Oh, my legs are sore," said Camilla. She stood up and rubbed them. Marcus pulled her down quickly. "Shh," he whispered. "I can hear someone coming." The children peeped around the pots. A man was coming down the street. He was carrying a small bag. "It's Salvius," whispered Robert. "What do you think he's got in that bag?" Lucy grinned. "I bet it's the bronze bust." Robert nodded. "Yes, I think it is." The children watched. Salvius stood outside the pottery shop. He looked up and down the street nervously. "Let's get him," whispered Robert. The children shouted loudly and jumped out of their hiding place. Salvius was frightened by the noise. He started to run off. "Stop, Salvius," commanded Marcus. Salvius stopped. He held the bag close to him. "Give me the bag," said Marcus. "But master," protested Salvius, "I said, give it to me," repeated Marcus. "But master," said Salvius, "I can explain. I have come to meet Veximus." "Veximus isn't coming. We set a trap for you, and you have fallen into it," said Marcus. He looked very angry. "Now, do as I say, and give me the bag." Salvius gave Marcus the bag. Marcus pulled it open. He looked inside and gasped. The bag held a few coins. Marcus glared at Salvius. "This bag has money in it. What have you done with the bust?" "The bust?" said Salvius. He looked very upset. No, you don't think I stole it, do you? Let me explain, master." The children looked at each other. They were puzzled. Why was there money in the bag and not the bust? It was all very odd. "Tell us what is going on," said Marcus. "And tell the truth. If you lie, you will be punished." Salvius took a deep breath. "I'm worried about the bust. I am sure it was stolen," he said. "I have thought about all the people at the party. I suspect Veximus is the thief. I overheard him telling another man that the bronze bust was the most beautiful bust he had seen." Salvius paused. "Go on," said Marcus. "I decided to speak to Veximus," said Salvius. "I searched for him at the marketplace yesterday. When I saw him, I asked him if he had the bust. I told him I would buy it from him and return it to my master. Salvius shook his head. It was a stupid thing for a slave to do. Veximus was angry. He told me I had no right to accuse him. He was rude to me. He told me to go away. The children looked at each other. They were astonished. They couldn't believe what they were hearing. Veximus was very angry, continued Salvius. But I was still suspicious of him. I decided to talk to his slave at the baths. That's why I was so glad when your father said he wanted to go to the baths this afternoon. Anyway, I asked Veximus's slave if he had any suspicions about his master. He said he hadn't. I thought I must be wrong about Veximus. But then I got the message to meet him tonight. I thought he had changed his mind. I thought he had the bust and wanted to sell it to me after all. But where did you get this money from? Asked Marcus. Salvius bowed his head. I have been saving for a long, long time, he said. What have you been saving for? Asked Lucy. Salvius sighed. For my freedom. Lucy looked puzzled. What do you mean? Camilla interrupted. Slaves are owned by their masters, she explained. But it is possible for a slave to buy his freedom from slavery. Yes, said Marcus. Also, sometimes a master will free his slave if he serves him well. I only wanted to help my master, said Salvius sadly. I was afraid that if I didn't get the bust back, Senator Julius would punish him. Robert and Lucy felt sorry for Salvius. They felt sorry for thinking that he was a thief too. Marcus handed the bag of money back to Salvius. I'm very sorry. We thought you were a thief. Salvius bowed his head. What do we do now? Asked Camilla. We still don't know who has got the bust. Robert shrugged his shoulders. Perhaps we can work with Salvius to try and find the thief. I will help all I can, said Salvius. Let's think about the night of the party again, said Camilla. There must be a clue that we have missed. All right, said Robert. Let's think. But we all fell asleep during the evening. Salvius, can you think who went near the bust later on? Salvius thought and thought. There were a lot of people looking at the bust, he said. Any one of them could be the thief. Did anyone take more interest than the others? Asked Lucy. Salvius frowned. He thought hard. It's so difficult to remember, he said. Suddenly, his face brightened. Yes, he said. I remember. Titus Carolus admired the bust. He touched it lots of times. He said how valuable it must be. I remember thinking how rude he was to touch it. Who is Titus Carolus? Asked Robert. Titus Carolus is an olive oil merchant, said Marcus. He's a rich man. He owns a shop in Rome where the finest olive oils are sold. But why would he steal something? He is rich enough to buy anything he wants. Titus may be rich, but he may also be a thief, said Lucy. But how can we find out if he is guilty? Asked Camilla. We must investigate, said Robert. He looked up at the sky. The moon was shining brightly. It was time to go to bed. "Tomorrow we must get up early," he said. "We have a thief to catch."
Okay, guys, now let us move to some important events that happened in chapter 5. The children waited Salvius at this night. They hid themselves behind a pile of broken pots. Salvius came out. They suddenly appeared and asked him about the bag which he had in his hands. They thought that the bust is in it, but there was a surprise. What is it? They didn't find the bust in the bag. They found money which Salvius saved for his freedom. The matter became more complicated, and a great surprise happened. Salvius wasn't the thief. He was trying to find the thief and to return the bust back to his master. Salvius told them that he met Maximus's slave to know if his master had stolen the bust or not, and decided to buy it if he had found it with him, because he loves his master very much and didn't want him to be in trouble with Senator Julius. He told them that he thought Titus was the thief because he noticed him look into the bust, so he decided to try with him and return the bust. They decided to work together to find the real thief and to return back the bust. They thought about another person who may stole the bust, and Salvius thought about Titus Carolus, because he's a bad man and can't steal anything he wants. He was an olive oil merchant. He was looking at the bust and admired it. Let us move to the answered questions. The first one is, what did the children look for? What did they find? They looked for a good place to hide. They found a pile of broken pots in the doorway. Number 2, who was coming? What was he carrying? They saw Salvius and he was carrying a bag. What was in the bag? There was a few coins in it. Why were the children puzzled? Because they found money in the bag, not the bust. Number 5, where did Salvius get this money from? He saved it for many years to get his freedom. He saved it for many years to get his freedom. Complete the followings. Maximus isn't coming. We set a trap for you, and you have fallen into it. Number 2, Salvius saved the money for his freedom. I was afraid that if I didn't get the bust back, Senator Julius would punish him. Number 4, there must be a clue that we have missed. A clue means like solving a solution for the puzzle, a solution for the problem. There must be a clue, a solution that we have missed. Number 5, slaves are owned by their master. Slaves are owned by their master. Let us move to some questions. We have to answer them. Number 1, was Maximus there? Why was Maximus there? Why? No, he wasn't. It was a trap for Salvius. Number 2, what did Salvius tell Maximus? He would buy the bust from him if he had it. Number 3, why was Maximus angry? Because Salvius accused him of stealing the bust. Number 5, who was Titus Carolus? He was an olive oil merchant. An olive oil merchant. Number 1, was Maximus there? Why? No, he wasn't. It was a trap for Salvius. Just a trap. Number 2, what did Salvius tell Maximus? He would buy the bust from him if he had it. Number 3, why was Maximus angry? Because Salvius accused him of stealing the bust. Number 5, who was Titus Carolus? He was an olive oil merchant. Okay, complete the followings. Number 1, Salvius thought Titus Carolus was the thief. Number 2, Salvius decided to talk to Maximus's slave at the bath. Salvius decided to talk to Maximus's slave at the bath. Number 3, it is possible for a slave to buy his freedom from slavery. It is possible for a slave to buy his freedom from slavery. Number 4 and the last one, Titus Carolus was an olive oil merchant. Merchant means someone who buys and sells olive oil. Okay? I hope you enjoyed it. See you next time. Hello Primary 5. Today we have new unit, Join the World Watch, Unit 13, Part 1. Okay, as usual, let's move to the booklet. Open your booklet, page 38. We have Unit 13, Join the World Watch. Lesson 1 and 2. As usual, let's start with the new words. Let's start with the new words, guys. Number 1, we got the word powerful. Powerful means very strong. Powerful means to be very strong. Number 2, we got the word persuade. Means convince. To make someone agree. To make someone agree to do something. For example, my friend persuaded me to go to the club. Okay? That means to make someone agree to do something. My friend persuaded me to go to the club. Number 3, we got the word leaflet. Leaflet means small printed paper that gives information. A paper that has information. Leaflet. When you go to Al-Azhar Park, you will have the ticket. It is written on the ticket, don't walk on the grass or don't play on the grass. Leaflet means small paper, small printed paper that gives information. Okay? Number 4, extinct. Extinct, no longer existing. For example, the dinosaurs are extinct. The dinosaurs are extinct. Number 5, we got the word join. For example, join means to link. Okay, for example, Muhammad Salah joined Liverpool. Joined Liverpool means played for Liverpool. Okay, joined Liverpool, that means to be linked to Liverpool. Number 6, government. Government, a group of persons who controls the country. A group of persons who control the country, the government. Number 7, law. Law means like rules. You have to follow the laws. That means you have to follow the rules. You have to follow the rules. Number 8, encourage. Encourage means to support. Encourage means to support. Okay, for example, my teacher encouraged me to get high marks. Okay, encourage means to support. Number 9, atmosphere. The mixture of gases around the earth. The mixture of gases around the earth. Atmosphere. Okay? Number 10, prevent. Prevent means to make someone stop doing something. To make someone stop doing something. This is prevent. Okay, for example, my dad prevented me from playing in the street. That means my dad stopped me to play in the street. Number 11, look at the picture on your right. Spill, to pour out. For example, the water spilled. The water spilled in the ground. To be poured out. Okay? Repeat after me from the beginning. Number 1, powerful. Persuade. Leaflet. Extinct. Join. Government. Low. Encourage. Atmosphere. Prevent. Spill. Okay? Now, let's move to the grammar rules. Today we have active and passive verbs. Past simple, passive. I think we studied it before, but we gotta do a revision for it. Active, any English sentence starts with the subject. The man read the book. The man here is a subject. Read is a verb. The book object. Okay, when I want to change it into passive, I start with the book, the object. Object plus was where plus PP. The book was read by the man yesterday. The book was read by the man yesterday. Another example, the lady drove a silver car. The lady here is subject. Drove, verb. A silver car, object. When I want to start with the object, the silver car, I start with the object. The silver car was or where was. The silver car was. The PP for drove, drive, drove, driven. The silver car was driven by the lady last week. Okay, guys? Let us answer some questions. Rewrite the followings. Ali wrote the letters yesterday. I want to change them. To change it, and I want to use by. I start with the object, the letters. The letters was or where. The letters were. The PP for write, wrote, written. The letters were written by Ali yesterday. See the answer? The letters were written by Ali yesterday. Number 2. The plants were grown by the farmers. I want to use the verb grew. Cancel by and cancel where, and I start with the subject. The farmers grew the plants. The farmers grew the plants. Okay, guys? Number 3, guys. Omar studied English last night. I want to start with the object, English. English was or where English was studied by Omar last night. I start with the object, and the object takes was. English was or where English was English was PP, studied by Omar last night. Number 4, some clean water was collected by coffee. Cancel by and cancel was. And I start with the subjects. Coffee. I start with coffee. Coffee. Collected some clean water. I cancel by and cancel was. And I start with subject and then the verb, the past simple, and then the object. Coffee collected some clean water. Okay, see the answer? Number 4. Coffee collected some clean water. Number 5. The ship spilled some oil. The ship spilled some oil. Okay, I start with the object. Some oil was or were. Some oil was. Some oil was. The PP4 spilled. Some oil was spilled by the ship. Some oil was spilled by the ship. Okay, guys? Now, let's move to the language book to read the text. Unit 13. Join the World Watch. Okay. Look at the yellow box at the top of the page. Yellow box at the top of the page on your right. Words can be very powerful. People use words to persuade us to do things. This leaflet was written by World Watch. World Watch, like an organization, like a charity. Okay? Join World Watch. Look forward to a better future. Look forward to a better future with World Watch. What are the problems? Okay, see the elements? See the elements? What are the problems? Number 1, our forests are disappearing. Look at the first picture. Our forests are disappearing. The trees of the forests are disappearing. Okay? Some people or some countries cut the trees of the forests. Okay? And this affects the atmosphere and the global weather. Okay? Our forests are disappearing. The next one. Our air and water are unclean. Our air and water are unclean. Many animals are becoming extinct. Okay? Many animals are becoming extinct. Extinct means, okay, no longer existing. What does it mean, these words? The dinosaurs are extinct. There is pollution everywhere. There is pollution everywhere. Okay? What is the answer? Join World Watch. World Watch has been working for 30 years to make the world a better place. World Watch, it's an organization or charity, international charity, has been working for 30 years to make the world a better place. Okay? With your help, we have asked governments to pass laws about pollution. What does it mean, this word? Pass laws about pollution. Pass laws means to make rules. To make rules. Okay? About pollution. The one who pollutes the air or a river should be punished. The next one. Encouraged people to recycle materials. Encouraged people to recycle materials. Recycle means to collect, like for example, plastic cans or metal cans, and to be recycled again. Okay? Stopped some factories polluting the atmosphere. Okay? The factories polluting the atmosphere should be stopped. Shouldn't work. Prevented oil spills at sea. Prevented oil spills at sea. We shouldn't spill oil at sea, like some ships do that. Protected the world's wildlife. We should protect the world's wildlife. What does it mean, this word, world, wildlife? Wildlife means like a forest, the place where the animals and the plants to live together, living together. This is called wildlife, like a forest. Reduced traffic pollution in our cities. We should stop traffic pollution in our cities. Okay, guys? I hope you enjoyed it. See you next time.